The farolito, he said to himself. The lighthouse. The lighthouse that invites the storm and lights it. It was a strange place. A place really of the late night and early dawn, which as a rule did not open until 4 o'clock in the morning, but today being the holiday for the dead, it would not close. The proprietor, Ramon Diosdado, known as the Elephant, who was reputed to have murdered his wife to cure her neurasthenia, the beggars, hacked by war and covered with sores, one of whom, one night after 4 drinks from the consul, had taken him for the Christ.
The consul, that creature of Malcolm Lowry's, spent his last night on Earth in the farolito. There he found himself surrounded by a group of irritated bureaucrats. This did not surprise the consul, as he had always considered himself the chief of sinners.
Then Sanabria spoke for the first time. "I'm afraid you must come to prison," he said simply in English. The chief of municipality rolled his hips and gripped the consul's arm. "You Al Capone, you a Jew, Chingao. We have found out on the telephone, is it right, that you are a criminal? You want to be a policeman? I make you policeman in Mexico." The chief of rostrums took him by the coat. Someone else seized him from behind. In spite of his struggles, he was being dragged towards the door. The chief of rostrums was looking down at him. "Norte-Americano, eh?" said the chief. "Inglés, you Jew." He narrowed his eyes. The consul, shaking himself free, tore frantically at the horse's bridle. The chief of rostrums stepped aside, hand on his holster. He drew his pistol. With his free hand, he waved away some tentative onlookers. "I blow you wide open from your knees up, you cabron," he said, "you pelado." "No, I wouldn't do that," said the consul quietly, turning around. "That's a Colt 17, isn't it? It throws a lot of steel shavings." The chief of rostrums pushed the consul back out of the light, took 2 steps forward, and fired. Lightning flashed like an inchworm going down the sky, and the consul, reeling, saw above him for a moment the shape of Popocatépetl, plumed with emerald snow and drenched with brilliance. The chief fired twice more. The shots spaced, deliberate. Thunderclaps crashed on the mountains and then at hand. Released, the horse reared, tossing its head. It wheeled round and plunged neighing into the forest. At first the consul felt a queer relief. Now he realized he had been shot. He fell on one knee, then with a groan, flat on his face in the grass. "Christ," he remarked, puzzled. "This is a dingy way to die." A bell spoke out. Dolente, dolore. It was raining softly. Shapes hovered by him, holding his hand, perhaps still trying to pick his pockets, or to help, or merely curious. He could feel life slivering out of him like liver, ebbing into the tenderness of the grass. He was alone. Where was everybody? Or had there been no one? Suddenly he screamed, and it was as though this scream were being tossed from one tree to another as its echoes returned. Then, as though the trees themselves were crowding nearer, huddled together, closing over him, pitying, somebody threw a dead dog after him down the ravine.